So this is kind of sort of what I'm shooting for. The idea of being able to retrofit the Ryobi BT3000 sliding table to the Shopsmith Mark V or Mark VII. In this case, it's a Mark V with a 520 table system. The 510 table system would be a little more complex. The tubes that I just dropped this on are positioned higher up. There was a great discussion, and I believe even a drawing over on the Shopsmith forums quite some time ago. I'll link to it, to where if you've got a 510 model Mark V, you could make a bracket that would allow something like this to fit. But just a couple things. Normally, you'll see these being installed over here on what is, from the operator side, the left of the blade. I don't like that because I have more table on a Shopsmith table saw to the right of the blade. And if I ever tilt my table, I end up needing to be able to be clear of the blade because the blade, in essence, is tilting left. And so if you have a left tilt table saw, you use the right hand miter gauge for most cuts. Also, Ryobi makes a longer fence extrusion that would allow this to reach more closer to the blade. Could also just add an extension fence because there is a T-slot groove in the face of this. I still need to add a clamp of some sort underneath, which shouldn't be a big deal. But notice without a clamp, because of the way I designed this, any downward pressure here is actually going to be holding the accessory onto those tubes that are beneath it. And I also need to shim between these two parts because right now I'm just barely reaching the table. This is sitting slightly low. But you get the idea how a crosscut sliding table could be added to the Mark V.
I know this looks a little weird. It looks like there's a gap between my wood and my fence, but actually that's just a T-slot in the fence. I'm tight against my fence. And I got the depth set. We're going all the way through. Oh, almost all the way through. Guess I could set my depth a bit deeper. Okay, so this one gets a hook and this one gets a slot. Depending upon how it hits the tubes here in the front, guess it doesn't really matter what the angle is, as long as we clear it. To the bandsaw. All right, let me show you what I was after here. So what I want is a fit not unlike what we have with the Shopsmith, and that is we're going to slide it over the rear tubes on the main table and drop it down onto the front. Of course, I'm showing it from behind. We go this way and there, and then that is locked. It can't shift. It's at the correct height, the same height front and back. If I needed to shim this, I could. I can either shim underneath these points where it actually makes the tube, or between the sliding table and this and the pieces that will connect it here in just a minute. So what you just missed is something I thought was going to be boring, and that was me pulling these parts apart. And it's when I realized I used the wrong double stick tape. What I normally would use for this application is a tape that's meant to release, and this is fast cap speed tape, and this stuff is just tenacious, and I'll do my best to get this off, but gosh darn it, I knew better. I knew better. My fingers want to stick together. Oh, I got a Band-Aid, that's what they're sticking to. So here's where what I'm doing here. I've got some pocket screws. This piece is strictly a piece of scrap for this prototype. Eventually, maybe I'll replace it. I mean, it's completely hidden. No one's ever going to see it. So I guess it doesn't matter either way. And you know, having these holes in here would make it lighter. So maybe I won't replace it. We'll see. But I got some pocket screws going in here to join these together. And don't confuse yourself, Scott. Don't confuse. This is what happened before. What I do want to make sure is that these line up properly. I don't want to have one ahead of the other shifting a little bit, because then it's gonna rack when it hits the tubes. You know what I should do? Should do is just go ahead and install them in the tubes. Tape is amazing. Yeah. All right. What I need is my little Rockler clamp that I have for doing pocket screws that would hold these pieces together just right. So this might take some fine tuning, but let's check it out. All right, so that'll slip on thusly. Probably will still add a clamp, just to be safe, a clamp to prevent that from ever lifting. The other end can't go anywhere at all. And then our sliding table will get installed on this. Somewhere on here. And hey, look at that. We're sitting too high. Should come as no surprise that I mismeasured. Well, that's okay, because all I have to do, take this piece off and rip whatever that thickness is, rip that off of these pieces, and then we'll reinstall it. So, not freaking out about it. I don't math. Yeah, this I do want to be permanent, so yes, I am using the right wrong tape. Oh, I lost my mark. I cut it off is what I did. Didn't just lose it. Ooh. Well, I established that by averaging the difference between these two tubes. The screws are just a tad too long because the sides here are not quite ½ inch thick. and I drilled this as if they were. So I've got 1-inch long screws that are wanting to poke their way through. Yeah, I'm not sure that double-sided tape did me a favor, so maybe I'll skip it this time around. See what regrets I have. Sure wish I had a mark. Let's get a mark. That makes me feel better. We are just a hair low, as I was wanting. That gets screwed there, that gets screwed there. Beautiful. Nice cordless variable speed reversing screwdriver. It also extends while we're at it. That'll do for now. And then need the fence to see if we're running parallel to that fence. This fence has seen better days though. It has been in a few incidents. We are indexing against a 90-degree stop on this table. So, you know, I'm missing a stop on the front to prevent this from traveling too far. I'm gonna have to add a stop to stop that. So that right there is about the middle of my blade. So that's about where that needs to be. And then let's draw this back. And is it running parallel? It is. It was. It was running parallel. So we'll just use that. Try that again. We'll use that to position us. And we'll drill the next hole. All right, so right now we're sitting just a hair low, enough to cause that fence to slide on the table ever so slightly. So I'll shim that up and do a few more things to make this feel like it's locked in place.
This particular table was used by 2 Ryobi table saws and 1 Craftsman table saw. Again, in the video description, I'll put those numbers so you know what to look for. Unfortunately, all of those saws have been discontinued, but that also means that they're out there used, sometimes being parted out, and can be had for a great price. So is it worth doing? I don't know. It's worth trying. Let me know how you get on if you try one of these, and make it a great day.